It's casual, not formal. It's hosted by Rory Penland. Oh, and Renee in tow. It's time to start the show. 1, 2, 3, go!
I love that ending where I'm doing the mustache thing with John Biner. I do. Renee, where are you?
That was an iconic moment. It's John Biner and you were like testing, you were showing him your impersonations.
I was telling him you look like David Niven. I said, can you do David Niven? Because you're looking like him. All you need is a little pencil thin mustache.
I love that. And I also love the Ivan's listening computer when Ivan Christo was on and he had two different ones on, one for audio and one for video. It was great.
Ivan and Troy together. That was just
Ivan and Troy. Oh, man. Yeah, it doesn't get any better than that.
Hey, you like Doritos, right?
I love Doritos.
Okay, not to do a commercial or anything. You know, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of commercials this week, but yeah. But I found these. Do you remember these?
Oh my gosh, that's from like the 70s, the 80s. That's how I remember the Doritos.
Every now and again, they'll put them out limited bags out there. It's the taco flavored Doritos. And they put it in the old bag from, like you said, from like the 70s. And these were my favorite as a kid. They're still my favorite. Yeah. But I can't eat them at nighttime. Because they give me acid reflux when I'm sleeping. Yeah. So I've got to eat them in the daytime. I got to eat them at lunchtime. So
that's a good thing about being a kid. You don't get the acid reflux generally. When we get older, then we got to deal with shit.
It's like, damn it, I can't eat that anymore.
I know, but it's worth it. Sometimes it's worth it. You know.
Oh man, I love them. I like spicy. It just doesn't like me. That's what I'm trying to say.
Well, I also I respect artwork on it. You know, I just love that the way that they did it with the little panels on it. It just looks so cool. And then they got a sombrero on it, so you know
it brings back memories. You know, it brings back
lots of memories. Yeah, it's great.
You remember when Jay Leno used to do the commercials? Hey, Doritos, crunch all you want. We'll make more.
That is too accurate. Oh my gosh. What do you think? I've been wanting to ask you this for a long time. What do you think your best impressions are from your standpoint?
Oh man. Clint Eastwood. That one's very close. Even today as he's getting older. And
even his son liked that one. Even his son signed off on that one.
My Bugs Bunny's pretty good, Doc. I do the laugh. A lot of people don't do the laugh, so you know, that's probably my best one.
Those two are really good. You're good at
when
Trump
I do
really
that one. People are like, "Wow," you know. So
it's not easy. I don't know how you do that many different ones. It's so weird. Do you do Bill Cosby?
Can't explain.
Because
I do Bill Cosby.
That's the thing.
I'm in prison.
It's too accurate.
That's what I say when I do the 900 voices.
What gets me crazy when people like you or whatever, when you guys do these impersonations, your whole body changes when you do the voice change. It's like you encapsulate the spirit of the person. That's just mind-blowing.
So like when you do Jack Nicholson, the eyebrows go immediately up. Yeah. So
it's great. It's so good. I love it.
Anyway,
yes. Anyways, that's what Rory Penland does. I'm getting used to you being Rory Penland, you know, because It's Casual was on break for quite a while, and you look a little bit like this other guy in the network. There's another guy in the network.
Earlier today, you were asking me for the timeline for the movie, and I'm like, wait a minute. It's Tuesday.
And I just in my brain.
We're doing It's Casual again. We're not doing Howitzer.
I'm so not used to the schedule change. It's wild. I was like, It's Casual. Oh, okay. Because of course on
today's
Thursday, and on Thursday we do. Well, there are people that do on this network. This network
the
does
big monster breaking room.
big monster briefing room, and there's peach tea, and there's all. Do you do tea like the general? The general does tea.
I'm just drinking water now. It's good. It's good for me. Just drinking water.
Now, this was gifted by Diane Coll, and then this has my water in it, which is Orchid Times, which is tomorrow at 7 p.m. We love Orchid Times.
You got 2 cups full of beverage next to you.
I got hot tea.
Yes,
and
sir.
then water.
Yes, sir. Two cups
I'm going
full.
back and forth. Isn't that great? Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, by the way.
You are so prepped. I've just got a bottle of water. You know, you got 2 mugs, different mugs. You know, one of them is a Christmas mug. The other one is another mug. And you got them filled with, the appropriate beverage.
I probably need to have the gnome without the brain, without the head. That would be the third one. I have that one in the other room. But, today, I had to be prepared because I wanted to be really good today because, of course, we have Aunt Dee on. Do you say Aunt Dee or Aunt Dee? What do you say?
Aunt Dee.
Aunt Dee. But It sounds almost like auntie, like auntie, Aunt Dee. Well, I say Aunt Dee, but every now and then I say Aunt Dee.
She's my aunt.
Dee. It depends where you are in the country.
She's my aunt.
She's
so yes,
Aunt
the appropriate British pronunciation is aunt.
Aunt, and she's going to be playing some. She's going to play some songs for us. She's going to talk about whatever we want to talk about. I know there's everybody loves her, right? So we're lucky to have her.
Yes. So and we had her on a no icing with Rita a couple of weeks ago. And it was a wonderful conversation, mostly about music and performance. And there were some questions I didn't get all the answers I wanted. So, I'm going to ask some of those questions again, but in a different way to kind of get hopefully get the answer I was hoping to get. So there it is. I'm trying to try my best not to repeat too much from that show. But
we want to go deeper.
Yeah.
We want to go deeper.
Yeah. I want to go back a little farther. I want to find out more about the early days and and how it all came about and the influences.
Right. That's a big one. I'm interested in that too because I don't know a lot about that. I don't know about the early days of Aunt Dee.
And so she made some interesting comments about her parents that I want to hear more about that.
Yeah.
So
parents are so influential. Our whole identity. A lot of our early formation that's instilled in us by our parents. So
she said they were kind of yin and yang.
Wow.
The mom evidently was more into music, but ironically, the dad bought her first guitar.
Oh wow! I always love first guitar stories, don't you? It's like whoever gets you your first guitar. It's always such a cool story.
I was going to ask her to relay more of that story with us.
Okay.
It was kind of an thrown away kind of line, and I was like, "Oh, tell us more about that."
That's all I can think of.
When you got your first guitar,
Yeah, it's such a big deal.
Let's go ahead and bring her on up.
Hello, Auntie is
here.
She is.
Hey, how's it going?
Hello.
Good. How is your hand? Is it better?
A little bit. I played, last night. I'm recording my 3rd album, so I was in the studio last night and played. Let's just say I played enough, I didn't overdo anything. I tried to I did everything I could with it. It's it's improving, I guess.
That's good. For those who did not see No Icing with Rita, Dee had an accident just before Christmas time, a car accident, and hurt her hand.
Yeah.
And my car door slammed on my hand today because I was parked on a kind of an incline.
Ouch.
And I wasn't paying attention, and I had my hand on the roof, and the door closed on it. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's like the worst feeling. The worst.
But I'm sure it's not near as bad as what she went through. But it was throbbing at the time.
You can break your finger that way. Really, really easy.
Luckily, I didn't break anything. I can still move everything. But
okay, that's good. That's good. It's hard for the musician particularly, because if you're playing one of the stringed instruments, it's just, it's awful.
She's got to play,
Right, that's true.
You mentioned your third album. Can you tell us, the viewers, a little bit about the first two?
Yeah. Yeah. Just a second. All right. So yeah. I did the first two albums. They're pretty much written like well, I mean, they were both like half written like during COVID and stuff, and a lot of the songs relate to that. Especially the second album. I just did them myself, pretty much. Well, I mean, in terms of playing, Dave Snyder, who is my rhythm guitar player now too, he recorded the first two albums, and yeah, I mean, they're pretty simple. I didn't really take any effects on it or anything. It's our friend Megan Stepka popped in the studio and was all like, "Oh, I might, put she had some idea to put like a rotating speaker, like chorus thing or something on one of the vocals." I was just like, yeah, "What's the point?" Everyone's pretty much just watching me play on my show, so that's all anyone's really expecting to hear. So, that was it. And like, so this third album is, I started working on it, oh, jeez, like about a year ago. There's like 11 songs. I decided to start recording with tape, using a tape recorder. And I recorded a bunch. I recorded like it was like 10 or 11 tunes, and then things just kind of got like weird.
Okay, how did that happen?
Well, I mean, I did I was not hospitalized. Like I was doing like an inpatient thing for like a few months.
Okay.
And I didn't have the time or like the headspace to do any of this stuff. So I didn't get anything done. And I started working on it again like a few months ago. And so I mean, I have a band now that both of them are both in one other band each. So it's like, well, I was already working on the solo album. Why don't we we're gonna be doing a few songs in the studio. So we're working on that right now. So it's gonna be a bunch of solo stuff that fits in with like the first two albums, and then like also a few tracks done totally in the studio with Jeanette Thomas on bass, and David Snyder on guitar, and with drum programming that I pretty much do myself.
Wow.
John Duncan says he's got your music in high rotation. He loves your music.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And someone else said you're the only modern blues artist that they listen to. So you're getting people into a genre who
That
generally aren't even interested in that.
that would be Jacob Allen, wouldn't it?
I don't know. It says Facebook user.
That's Jake Allen.
Hey, Jake, Papa SDF. We love
I mean,
SDF.
unless there's other people saying that, but the one I know about is Jake.
Are you one of your worst critics? I find that a lot of sensitive artists, including myself, I tend to be my own worst critic. When I'm in the studio, nothing I record sounds good to me. I hate everything. And do you find yourself being hard on yourself?
Yeah, the thing about that, he said, yeah, it's me.
Yeah, it's
It's
Jake.
Jake.
Hey, Jake.
Yeah, Jake says a lot of stuff like that. Yeah, uh, that's why I'm that's why I'm recording with Dave Snyder. Um, he he lets me know um if a take was good or not. Um,
He's an opinion you trust.
yeah, because then otherwise, like, and I was recording this album under my dead name years ago. There was this album called Up Off the Floor, and I recorded it all in here by myself, and I got it done, but I probably canned a lot of tracks that would have just been fine. Um, Especially when I was playing the drums on stuff. I really could have used somebody here to tell me what they thought, but you know, I didn't, and I got through it, but it just means that it took a lot longer.
And that was back in Pittsburgh?
No, 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 no. I've lived here for 25 years.
Oh, I didn't realize you lived in Ohio for that long. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, in this, I've lived in this house for almost 20 years. I first lived in my dad's place for just a few years, and then he remarried, and I got my stepmom's place for a while. Um, as a stopgap, but we were figuring out what the best thing was going to be, like, with the money and everything, and um, you know, I have too much stuff for an apartment, and it just,
Way I'm a pack rat.
it's
Everything has sentimental value.
it's not
Yeah,
well,
I get into that too.
it's not so bad anymore. I'm getting rid of a lot of hoarding, actually. Just and it's not really hoarding. It's just I didn't realize I still had, I would, don't realize I have some things that, I have still and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that can get thrown away. Obviously I did a lot of that during lockdown, so there's nothing else to do. I just cleaned and wrote songs and drove around a lot. And it's how I wrote mainly the second album. And so the this place is that's kind of out of the way a little bit. I don't really have any friends that live out by me, and it's really unfortunate. But I'm in somewhere affordable and sustainable where I actually have some room, not too much. Because like I said, for a while, my dad got married to my stepmom. I had her place from before she married my dad for a while. It was too much for one person, especially at that time in my life.
Yeah,
It's not really even that big. It's like a 1-story ranch, but it had a big lawn, and I didn't have time to keep up with it. I had a full-time job.
Yeah.
I had a full-time job, and I was going to be the only person that lived in this house. And, I was trying to take care of pets that I had to. And it was too much. It was too much. Frankly, I had the city coming over and telling me, like, my lawn didn't get mowed often enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would pretty much just be like, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying, I pretty much just say to them, it's like, look, I'm not trying to dick anybody over. I have no time to do anything, you know. Um, and the job that I had was like half an hour away.
Oh.
That's like hour to hour and a half commuting every day. It was, yeah, Jake is saying big lawns are a pain. Yeah, I mean, it was just kind of having like a lawn at all that at the time I lived with a girlfriend, and the chores weren't being evenly put together. And she never mowed the lawn. I did all of it. And she did other stuff when she wanted to. And eventually that broke apart, and they're like, well, they're living in this place by themselves. Nah, it's too much. Too much for them. So I found me this place. And I really wish that I was like, it's been like 19 years of just like wishing that I was closer to, closer to Cleveland, closer in particular into this place called Lakewood.
Mm-hmm.
Lakewood is about the gayest place around, and it only gets better. It's they're really trying to make it into a really accepting place, and just more things there for someone like me to do, and that further means that there's no way I would ever be able to afford to live there. So yeah, I'm out in a single wide trailer, kind of out in the boonies a little bit, but and I've just got a little yard, barely merits having my own lawnmower. Wait a minute. Aaron Johnson Livy's from Cleveland? Uh-oh.
He lives
All
in
right.
Cleveland. That's what they said.
Yeah, definitely.
All
Not too
right.
far.
I didn't know that. All right. Somehow I had never heard of them before. All right. All right. I'll have to do something about that. Thanks for letting me know. Nobody told me that. I don't mean that like, when, no. I'm just saying nobody told me that. There's no way for me to know otherwise. And I get like really shy to meet people. So it's like, um, wow, I can't believe there's somebody that I had never seen. I had never actually heard that name mentioned before then. Because, okay, they live like 35 minutes away somewhere.
There you go.
That's, that's about it. That would be like it, like 30 to 40 minutes away from me somewhere.
Well, you don't have to worry about your neighbors complaining if you're playing music late at night.
Yeah, here in the trailer park, it's like I mean, I got neighbors and they're like a little bit closer than like what most houses would be anyway. Um, and but mobile homes get better in quality. Mine's pretty good. And the walls are pretty thick, so I mean, it's like I'm an acoustic musician, so I actually, if I want to go live stream at 2, 3 in the morning, none of my neighbors give a damn. So I don't think they can even hear it.
Well, there you go.
I've like apologized to people for stuff they didn't know what the F I was talking about.
There you
So
go.
it's like, oh, well, okay then. Well, I'm just letting you know then I'm a musician, and if it is ever a problem, let me know then, but it sounds like it's not going to be.
Would you like to play something for us now?
Yeah. Hold on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know that our guest would like to hear you.
have a smoke there real quick and stuff. Anybody watching, part of the reason I'm so off put, it has nothing to do with anybody here. It doesn't even have to do with me. I took some like Zoom calls or whatever earlier, and basically I should have rebooted my phone. I didn't have time to reboot my phone before this, so I kept trying to turn this back on. You all are talking out of my speakerphone right now instead of talking out of like the music speakers. And I don't know why. And this ain't normal, but that's why you're so damn close to my face. Because otherwise I wouldn't be able to hear you.
The quality is pretty good, so we're doing.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
And it's very good.
Yeah. Well,
and
it means
Sandy,
that there's no echo. That's what it means.
No
but
echo at all.
Everything else about it sucks. Yeah.
No, it's good. And Sandy D wanted to know if you're going live tonight.
Want me to?
I think that they do. I think that it's always a win when you're going live, D.
Yeah, because I don't go on a whole ton. And I should. And I apologize that I don't. I really. Yeah. I think I will. I've got I just got a webcam. I really wish that was what I was using. But again, I didn't think to like figure out how to set it up with this or something.
Believe it or not, we've had more tab gremlins with people that use the computer cameras than when they use their phones.
Yeah.
But I've even got like Logitech Brio, like $150 webcam that if I go live tonight, I'm going to be using for the first time ever. I've set it up in OBS. It works. I also got a mic. I didn't have before. I got one of those blue Yeti mics that is pretty much all the rage with people that are doing this stuff. And it's all hooked up, and I got signals from everything, and the resolution was so much better that it of course took my graphics and the things that I have overlay on the screen. It took that all and crunched it down, so I had to re-expand it because now I got this wide shot. Just the resolution is just, it might be too good.
Aunt D, John Duncan had a question. That's a really great
Yeah,
question.
I kind of see that.
Okay. Do you want to?
Yeah, I was just trying to read it because, again, I should be doing this on my computer. I'm like trying to read it, and I'm just like,
Do you want me to read it for you? Do you want me to
no,
read it as well?
I know what he's saying.
Okay.
What? I mean, he's pretty much saying like, how did I end up doing concrete surf?
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay. All right. So you gotta go back. I'm older than I look. Let's just say right out of high school in the late '90s, I started a band called the Tellers. I wasn't the singer though. Um, um, but before we had started the band, me and the singer's previous project, she didn't really. She was somebody that was like really interested in music. She didn't know this girl. She didn't know exactly what she was gonna do. She was trying to play some drums. We had like this like surf band. That in my head I kind of modeled after like Shadowy Man on a shadowy planet, but like a little bit more progressive than that. Like it would go into stuff that you wouldn't expect, like maybe different time signatures or maybe a heavy part that has nothing to do with surf, and now people do that now, and it's funny. That's an idea I had. So okay, so we start this band, and we did an album where we did 3 of our surf instrumentals, and it was more of a studio band. It was kind of like 3-man Genesis, everybody doing 2 different parts. Wasn't a live band. So when we got people, direction of the band changed. We weren't going to be doing any of my instrumentals anymore. So I left. And I took these tunes with me. And so the tunes that we used to do are Dee Says, and just trying to figure out what's giving me that weird shadow. Dee Says and File Under Fiction. And they were actually on the album that we made back then. And I had more, never got to play them. So we come to about like 2018. I recorded the project. It's a tune called Atomic Crash, two tunes from the Tellers album. A song called Oklahoma Jack that my friend Don Harvey wrote, and a rock cover of Classical Gas. It's not on the streaming services that way for legal reasons. But I will just say, if you buy the CD or tape, you're going to get classical gas in a way that you have never heard it before. I've had this idea for years and years. All these bands I've been in, people don't want to do it. Like, take that melody, have a guitar do it, have another guitar play the thirds, and have yourself some Wishbone Ash, Thin Lizzy, and replace the orchestra with power chords. And really just play the bass and the drums the same. And that's exactly what I did. So I did this version of Classical Gas. I haven't played it the same, but I'm playing it on clean electric guitar. So the project kept never coming out, and I had a feeling that I shouldn't put it out yet because my identity was about to go through an overhaul. And I was right. So 2019 keeps coming along. 2020 is like, well, 2020, well, when am I ever going to do this then? So 2021, I put it out at the same time that I put the second album out.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm going to do that every once in a while. I'm going to do the Beck sort of thing every once in a while where there's going to be an album every once in a while that has nothing to do with what I do or what people think it is that I do. It's like Beck would come right before he did Mellow Gold. He did One Foot in the Grave, which has blues songs on it. It was part of the idea. It was part of where I got the idea to really do what I do. I mean, to have like blues, but to have it done like, the Guided by Voices Pavement Sebadoh way, with the tape recorder and the 4-track and the DIY sensibility with the audio and the visuals, and that's where I came up with the term I keep using, alt blues. It's like alt country, but it's blues, and it already existed. It was John Spencer. It was everything he's done. John Spencer Blues Explosion, Pussy Galore. Everything he's done. That's what that is to me. It's the same idea as alt country. It's like something new that's rock influenced, but it, only influenced by older stuff to a point. And there's kind of this midpoint where it's like, yeah, let's rethink that. Like alt country is kind of like, yeah, let's have the country and not so much of the cheese. In fact, let's have none of the cheese. Let's have more of the banjo, thank you. And more of the pedal steel. And more of the y'all. And more of the stuff that's supposed to make this country. That's exactly what I think about alt blues. It's blues played by hopefully someone that you would actually hang out with.
So you were going to do a song for us. Could you give us an example of the alt blues that you play?
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
All right, friends. So yeah, I do believe that I may go on after this, but you're all gonna have to give me half an hour to an hour just to probably do a little broadcast to myself Make sure everything's okay. I'm putting these things on. I can't play without them. So, let's get more of that. All blues. All right. Okay, so I'll think of something that I can do where I won't have to bring my lyrics up because I can't. Oh, let's see. I think I want to play. Alright, so I'm gonna do. I'm sorry. Normally I have my lyrics right here, and I don't right now, so I have to think about what I'm gonna play that's specifically a blues tune. Oh, here, I'll do this. Alright, so this is called Goodbye Blues. This is kind of like I guess I kind of wanted to sound remember all the words. Now, babe, I don't know how we see eye to eye. If I ain't gonna even try to get you it makes me wanna cry when we don't see eye to eye. Now I don't know just what to do. It's making me sad to see that way you're looking at me. What is going on wrong? Don't stop your train and let me ride. Don't you know I'll be right here by your side? I don't want you to leave, I want you to stay. But you wanna go anyway. So goodbye, baby. Well, first you gotta play. Yes, stop your train, let me ride. Don't you know I'd be right here by your side? I don't want you to leave, I want you to stay. Yo, you wanna go anyway. Well, goodbye, baby. Goodbye, baby. Goodbye.
Who were some of your early influences? Music.
I mean, I grew up like, wanting to be a rock star like any kid does, listening to whatever their parents listened to. So like my mom, My mom liked sort of pop music of the day. So like, Bananarama type stuff.
Yeah.
And then there would be like 60s stuff, like mainly the Beatles and the Dave Clark Five and the Monkees. And so there would be that. And then what happened is right when I get into middle school, the grunge thing happens.
Uh-huh.
And it was it was music that I wanted to listen to, but it wasn't like music I really wanted to play. So that was going to separate me from all my friends. But whatever. I had to be me. So in about seventh grade, end of seventh grade, beginning of eighth grade, so like 92, 93, I started listening to blues because it was being covered in the guitar magazines that I was reading. So you can go read about it. And I started learning how to do the stuff that these people were doing instead. And that led to also, various different kinds of folk music along the way. And it's been something that's become a part of my identity now. Even as I try to go and I've tried to play other kinds of music so that I could possibly get to have some more camaraderie with some more different kinds of people, some more different kinds of musicians, and it's just like never ends up happening. I always end up doing this again because I had it figured out. When in my like teens, when I knew I wanted to play blues, and I knew that I wanted to transition, but I didn't know anything about transitioning yet. I thought it was just something that like rich people got to do or something. I thought it was mostly surgeries, which is not doesn't have to be true. You know, I, I had the right idea when I was like 18, 19. It's just a whole lot of denial and going, well, can I maybe try this? Because otherwise I'm going to be out on a limb by myself in a lot of ways. Yeah. Life doesn't necessarily work like that. And you're not necessarily going to be best at the kind of music that you listen to. So I don't sit around and listen to a ton of blues. I listen to all kinds of shit. And I can play it. I just don't have the songwriting chops for everything. That's all. Um, I've tried to. Didn't work out.
I know Renee is going to want me to ask this question. What is your songwriting process when you're creating new tune?
Usually, believe it or not, for somebody that started out as just being a multi-instrumentalist, a lot of the lyrics that actually come first. When I was writing stuff during COVID. a lot of the lyrics came first, and a lot of them do for me. In fact, I've got I have an app now that I have stuck all my lyrics into, and it's I think like 15% of all the lyrics I ever wrote don't even have music yet because I write more of those. Um, I I can usually hear things going on in my head. Um, like usually I know sort of what a chord progression is, but I don't know yet what key I'm thinking about. So in terms of like, 1, 4, 5, minor 6, stuff like that, I know that I I haven't usually thought about what key yet. And with what key I'm thinking in my head might not be one that I can sing it in. So I might have to try to play it and pretty much squeak and sound terrible and go, yeah, that needs to be played lower. There's a song of mine called My Life is on Fire. And it was written in A minor, but I just was not going to be able to sing it like that. Which is the reason why there's a capo on it. Because then I got to play it in E minor position up in G, and that means um, that means Happyville. That means Fun City, because that G minor capoed up is where a lot of Ian Anderson songs were originally out, and they're recorded a lot Jethro Tull stuff. It's all been lowered now with age, but like Aqua Long, Thick as a Brick, whatnot, they all have acoustic parts. The capo on the 3rd fret. And you really love the key of G minor a whole hell of a lot. And I just went, oh, okay. So sort of ended up having my own little personal Jethro Tull song because of that.
I love the capo. I rely on the capo so much because of where my voice is and because I myself, unlike you, I'm not like a proficient guitarist. So for me, it's just easier to slide that capo up, but it sounds cool sometimes on that 3rd fret, even 4th fret. It just changes it a little bit, and I love it. I think it does add something extra.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, usually like, oh yeah, I mean, I honestly should use it more often, but I mean, I know how to play in enough different keys and whatnot that it's just like usually I don't need to, but in terms of making different sounds and stuff like that, it would be I probably should actually use the things more often than I do.
Now, you said when you were on Noising that you felt that your parents didn't take your music seriously early on, but your father did buy you your first guitar,
Yeah,
and your mom knew a lot about music.
yeah, he
And she used to record you. You said she used to record you singing.
yeah, my mom made tapes of me singing and stuff when I was really, really little. Yeah, if my parents would have taken me more seriously, I probably could have started playing when I was like 6, 7, something. Wouldn't have had to wait until I was 9, but you know, my dad didn't know much about music, and I guess he didn't really understand how my well, I didn't talk that much, so it was just like there was no way for him to know if I was gonna be good at it or not. But what I meant by that is just it's a shame that I had to even wait until I was 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's all, because I totally would have started earlier. Just no sweat, but there's no way to really just like convince your parents and stuff. Um, so I mean, what ended up happening was just my the last toy guitar that I had broke, and my dad was just like, "Yeah, you're old enough. I'll get you a guitar you can actually play for real." And he took me to some department store, in some Pittsburgh suburb. I don't remember where the hell we went. I remember just kind of seeing the guitar and just sort of bringing it home, and it was like $49.95. It was like a Martin 3/4, a Harmony like 3/4 size acoustic. Um, Sunburst, a black pickguard. Um, I wish I still had it. And I played nothing but acoustic for like the first 2 years, I think. Because once again, my dad just wasn't really being convinced the whole way. So, I mean, there would be like little moments where, say, like, I'd call him. Well, yeah, I called him into my room on, hey, look at this once or twice, but a couple times he just heard me playing and I sort of walked by, like, make sure that was actually me because he couldn't believe it. Because I just do little things like, one of them was like the first couple bars of the guitar, the solo at the beginning of No Time by the Guess Who, and I just figured out I was like, hey, listen to this. I just played the first few notes, and he was just like, I'm like, yeah, I figured it out. And eventually I was figuring out stuff by ear. And that's when finally he realized something was going on. And yeah, and well, I didn't really, I wasn't really having like, I didn't really have a whole lot of friends or anything like that. So it was just kind of like, well, we have to give this kid something to do with their lives. So that's how I end up playing other instruments. Because they would actually buy them for me. I mean, they would get me something not bottom of the line, but inexpensive. Be like, get a ukulele, banjo, 12-string guitar, fretless guitar. Well, I bought that. In fact, I bought a lot of the instruments that I'm looking at in this room by now myself, but my dad bought me everything for quite a while. I mean, my mom and me were somehow eventually convincing him, because eventually I had to always own 2 tape recorders because I was doing overdubs. Because I knew what it was and how it worked. I just didn't have a 4-track. But my mom showed me how to do it with 2 tape recorders. So I always had to own 2 tape recorders. So it became this big, like, series of things that I ended up having to have in order to keep me occupied. I would have, like, which I have now. I have keyboards around the house, not to play keyboards on them because they're really cheap, but to actually use the drum sounds in them. So, I'd have, like, like Yamaha keyboard, like, a lot of kids back then would have, but I'd be using it for it to be playing drums behind me playing something else. Essentially using it as a non-programmable drum machine. And that was the only way, that was how I started my first band. Because we were 12, and it was 1992, and there was this guy named Brian Baker, and he was like, yeah, if you teach me how to play bass, I'd love to do something. Like, sure, nobody else is even interested in being my friend, let alone I've never jammed with anybody before. So yeah, I'll teach you how to play bass. We started this, what you would now call melodic hard rock, what we back in the 80s, 90s and stuff called metal, heavy metal. We started this band. The only reason we got to start a band was because I said to him, we tried to have a couple of neighborhood kids come over that I barely knew. Well, I knew the one guy, and he brought his friend with him, which is extra shady. So this guy's going to play drums, and this guy's going to play rhythm guitar. Okay. God, these dudes couldn't play. I mean, I had been showing Brian how to play bass for like a few weeks on the weekends, and he was already better on bass than this dude. This guy named Matt Bonadio. He couldn't play guitar. He couldn't freaking play. So it was like, I mean, yeah, he knew how to play a power chord, but that doesn't mean he had rhythm or the ability to play any single note things or the ability to even play cowboy chords. So, and my friend Dave Rice, oh, he might be watching this because he's the only person I know from back then still. From way back then anyway. He couldn't really play drums. He's more of a guitar player, and that's what he does now. He plays acoustic guitar and sings and writes songs. That's what he does now. But like, yeah. So these kids came over. We we didn't have to worry about any repercussions on Monday morning because we didn't go to school with these 2 kids. I sent them home. We were total dicks. We sent these kids home, and they're walking down the cul-de-sac, walking home, and I'm going, okay. I walk upstairs, and it's like a damn movie scene. Brian's sitting there chomping on his bass on the edge of my bed, and I'm like, all right, here, buddy, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If we're going to start a band, this is what we have to do. I have to plug you into what I already have going on in my bedroom with music here. Meaning these keyboards, and I'm like, let me guess, your parents probably bought you a Yamaha or Casio. I need you to bring it with you someday. We're going to use the drum sounds in them. And that's what we did. The only reason I was ever able to even start my first band was because I went, hey, we need to use the drum. We need to do this, because if we don't, we're just going to be two kids playing riffs to each other, you know, forever. We're just going to be sitting here like thinking about what we could be doing someday.
David William Myers says, Dee, have you taught a lot of people how to play instruments?
Yeah, I did. There's kids that would tell you about it. Kids that I did actually go to school with, like this kid Brian. There was another kid named Justin Albans that we kept trying to get to play rhythm guitar for us, but he kept getting grounded. He was just never allowed to do anything on the weekends, and he deserved it. I mean, that's why he was in the private school. I was in the private school because I got beat up because the kids all knew I was gay before I even knew what that was, I guess. But I in sixth grade, or excuse me, in seventh grade, then I met these new kids going to this private school, and I used to. There were they had guitars in the music room.
Mm-hmm.
I would just sit around and play guitar before first period because I didn't have any friends. So, I ended up, and people saw that I taught Brian how to play bass. So, it just ends up being that I taught, I have no idea, somewhere between 5 to 10 guys their first few chords.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I've helped a lot of people get started.
Mm-hmm.
I've given lessons on and off, being that I've never had a store that somebody could drive to, that I worked at or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only deal in town now is Guitar Center, and I don't want to work there. So I mean, if Ma and Pa stores still existed, I'd be giving lessons at one right now.
Yeah.
Probably it's 2 or 3 days a week. But there isn't. In fact, there was one called Heights Guitar, but it was too far from here. It was down in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And I didn't get enough students to merit me even driving down there and back 1 day a week.
Yeah.
So I had to leave it. I had to leave it be, And but yeah, there's kids that I knew in 92 through 95 that would, right before we moved here, that would completely tell you, not jokingly, that I started the grunge revolution in our school. I wish I was kidding, but one of the kids that I got started playing, that's what he said one day, because fast forward a number of years, there's a kid named Pete Bucci that I taught how to play guitar. Not only does this kid named Peter go on, I guess, to become an elementary school music teacher, I think. Somebody told me, but he taught this other kid that we knew named Joe Pagano how to initially play bass so they could start a band because I had moved away and they knew I was playing blues and I wasn't going to play with them. So, we're playing a show. I'm opening for Joe's band that he now has in downtown Pittsburgh somewhere.
Oh, wow.
And this guy points down off stage to me and goes, and there's that dead name that started the grunge revolution in our middle school. Who knows if I'd have started playing otherwise? And he was right. He was right. I got a lot of kids started playing, and then even some of those kids showed the stuff that I showed them.
Hmm.
And got some people somewhat further in music. Now, there's some people, like I told you about, there was this Justin Albens guy that couldn't play rhythm guitar for my first band because he kept getting in trouble. I saw a friend of mine about 10 years ago. My friend calls me. He's like, I was at a wedding and I ran into Albens. I'm like, oh, geez, okay, what's going on with him? Oh, he says he doesn't play guitar anymore because his wife won't let him.
God.
Okay, dude.
I hate to hear stuff like that, But anyway, there's a lot of people on the social media channels that love what you do, and they're your friends now. Yeah, they really love what you
people
do.
Now. This is
what
what happened was when COVID started, I had a field day up in here, and I got really good at the live streaming, and I just got better at it than a lot of my local peers here did. I liked it a lot better, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was having a lot of sensory issues, being an autistic person, playing in a lot of places that were loud where people just don't shut up, or there's TVs going, or who knows what. It's terrible for someone like me. And sometimes I can't even hear myself play, even though there's monitors and stuff. So I did my first live streaming show at the end of March 2020, and someone I knew sent me $20. And I went, you know what? After expenses, for what I just did for 50 minutes, that's about what I would have taken home. If I didn't totally sell a bunch of merch that night or whatever. So, all right, ding, light bulb. March, April, May, the snowball gets bigger and bigger, and just being somebody that's transitioning, I realized I could save up money so I could get stuff like laser hair removal and whatnot. And I just told people that. I'm like, you send stuff to me, I'm using it. It's for a good cause. And I just, what? I made more and I make more in tips than the clubs ever paid me.
Yeah.
And I'm having a better time. And it's not about being lazy, because I'm sitting here on my ass, or I sit here in my living room anyway. And people people come over here, they drive over here to hang out with me for the first time. They walk in the door over there and go, oh, okay. I didn't realize it was just going to be like that right when I walked in. Like, yeah, this is all I got. This is the living room, Some people have a room in their house. I don't really have the room to have another room in this house other than this dedicated to this. Basically, this place is like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment.
Yeah.
As small as 2-bedroom, 2-bath can be. And
I lived in a single wide a while back. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yeah. When was yours built?
I lived in a Oh God.
Like there would be a tag.
It was a Fleetwood. I know that. It was brand new.
Yeah,
It was less than a car. It was $11,000 back
yeah,
when.
yeah.
So that was like 1992.
Okay. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We still had some Fleetwoods here when I moved in. We might still. They just don't have the logo on them anymore.
yeah.
But mine was built in '99.
Yeah.
Has way thicker walls than what your place had. It's not like
Yes.
a house, but it's better than I
Very
mean,
thin walls. Bedroom at each side, at each end.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's this place. I really
It's
just wanted to
functional.
get
It
it's
works.
functional. I really wanted to
It
get
works.
that out of here for years when I moved in. But the fact of the matter is, I the town I moved in, the area has gotten better over the years,
Yeah.
and the trailer park it's now got it's now run by an actual real estate company. So
Hmm.
this place is being run so much more professionally than it was,
I guess that's good.
and it's got new trailers in it. And we had like a lot of drunks, a lot of people that were trouble and whatnot. And it turns out those were a lot of people that they must have been getting some sort of lenience
Mm.
from our old landlady, because we get the place not run by the same people anymore, and all of a sudden, some people can't afford to live here anymore.
I
So yeah, a lot of people that were a problem just saw themselves out the door. I mean, I hope they're not homeless. A lot of them probably had to move in with family or
Yikes.
who knows what. Because yeah, there were a lot of just drunks, and I mean, just the whole area has done an upgrade. So it's like, yeah, I do believe now I may stay.
So you don't have any live gigs coming up soon? It's all going to be on StreamYard or
Well, I just did a show because I was asked to. Um, there's there's one club in Lakewood area that's kind of a gay bar, kind of not, and kind of a punk bar, honestly. A place called No Class. And I played there with my band a few months ago, and I played their solo the other night. And that goes over okay, and I get paid okay, and
good.
I get I make enough with merch to where it's kind of like it's pretty much like playing one of my shows.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. But a lot of things that I would be doing, um, yeah, they wouldn't be worth it. So, and there's just a lot of people that just a lot of people that have a hard time going out, and I've been credited with helping not only a lot of people get through COVID, but helping a lot of people just people feel like they've just gone to a show and
Yeah.
they didn't have to go anywhere. And so yeah, for people, with just illnesses or who knows what.
Well, we just hit an hour and 20 minutes, so Tom Chester's very happy that I went way over time. And thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. And I hope you had a great, happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you too. I'll probably be going on here in a little bit. I'm gonna take a little break here, and I'm gonna set up OBS, and I'll see everybody in a little bit, hopefully.
Renee?
Yes, thank you, Dee, for coming, and everyone tune in and watch her live in, maybe about a half hour or so, 45 minutes, something like that. It'll be awesome. Thank you so much, Dee, for coming and sharing more of your story and philosophy with us. And go back and check out the comments, because a lot of people had some really great comments, and it seems like you resonated with everybody in the audience, as you always do. You're very popular.
If nobody posted it yet, it's just auntd.bandcamp.com, or just get a hold of me personally. I'll give you some sort of deal if you want to take any of the music home with you.
Awesome.
When do you think the CD3 will be out?
It's going to be out probably in a few months. We're working on getting 3 songs done. We might do a little bit more to some of the other ones, but it's over half done.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
All right, everybody. Have a great night tonight.
Happy Valentine's Day, and thank you again,
Happy
Auntie.
Valentine's Day.
We love you. Bye, everybody.
Much love.